head, so I figured I just gotta get some of this snow footage. What the hell? It's sort of warm today. It's kind of a drippy day. So I thought, let me stream it. That's the answer to everything. I agree with clavicular, dude. Just stream it. I'm going to talk about clavicular. Is it hack to talk about clavicular? I hope I don't blow my knee out while I'm streaming. It's kind of slippery. And I've got, one arm out. I don't know. Should I? Ugh. I don't know. I'm on fire. We're increasingly approaching a world where certain people just stream everything, or certain people already are. This clavicular guy, he's getting a lot of press recently. And I haven't watched any of his streams. Of course, he seems like some kind of creepy right-wing fuckface, obviously. He definitely seems like some kind of psyop. But I didn't watch. He was on Adam Friedland's show. I didn't watch it. But I've seen a few clips of him doing this or that, and I read some piece about he hit somebody with his car on his live stream. And apparently he says the N-word. That's like one of his things. I don't think he says the hard R. But he does, he's sort of provocative. He's like a kick streamer. I've talked about this, right? A long time ago. I ran into these fucking kick streamers on Chinatown. And they were telling me about how they beat people up on their streams or whatever. For views, for clicks. That's definitely right-wing psyop. Who was it that I was talking to? Ashley, I think we were talking about, how in Berlin and shit there actually are these, like, far-right white supremacist kind of, it's a pretty big group of people. A lot of these European countries, there's these far-right politicians that win because of their anti-immigration sentiment and blah, blah, blah. Brexit. Who is it? That Lafarge guy. Le Pen. And, in any case, clavicular. He's just a streamer. He streams everything. He streams himself. And, well, increasingly, that's what streaming is about, I think. Even though it's about, sitting at your microphone or whatever. Sort of ranting, I guess. Doing a one-person Zoom conference. Look at this nice little... Increasingly, it's more like just capturing real life. Like, stream all the fucking time. Capture your interactions. Capture things as they happen. iShowSpeed does that. My thing is a little bit more of just like a podcast / notebook / diary / I try to incorporate like this, like real world, Terrence Malick-esque cinematography to also sort of like timestamp it and just get the ambiance and give it a visual life. There was this book these guys published, 10 Walks, 2 Talks, Andy Fitch, and the whole book was him like transcribing walks he had taken basically in this part of town, near Columbia, near Central Park, blah, blah, blah. So the piece was like sort of his walks. I think it's a good form. The walking form. Most of my poetry is walking poetry. It's not illegal yet. It ain't illegal yet to stream, baby. And, Doesn't cost anything. Hell, don't cost nothing. This guy's got the golf cart. I think I strained my knee. I mean, getting up at 40, you do start to see your body never stops going through puberty, really. There's multiple puberties. And your body never stops changing, right? It's alive. It's constantly remaking itself based on what you eat. Turning that into fucking proteins or whatever, your flesh and blood and organs and all that. Excuse me. And then, yeah, once you get to 40, it's sort of like one of the corners of life, I guess. I mean, I've been living like a 25-year-old for the last couple years, where it's like I eat bad food. I don't drink a lot, but like when I do, it takes longer to recover. I have more weird kind of soreness. And you know, I've got all these weird blah 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 health. So now, like my left knee, I think I was tying my shoe the other day. This is something old people talk about, I guess. So I'm getting old. I was tying my shoe the other day, so I was standing on my one leg. I kind of felt like my interior tendon in my knee kind of like strain. So I'm like, gotta be careful. My left leg kind of is a little sore today. But I'm trying to stay active, you know, even though it's the middle of freaking winter time. Trying to find a place to live. Trying to find a new apartment. If anybody knows of anything, let me know in the comments. Something cheap. Ideally sub $700 range. That's doable for me. I don't know if that even exists in this world anymore. Probably not, but I probably shouldn't put out that negative disclaimer. I probably should just go manifest. Cheap, beautiful.
That's what I said.
Long-term, cozy, good location, live streaming friendly. I mean, we were just a little bit ahead of the Slooge would have been the ultimate streamer house. It was already sort of moving that way. We were sort of before the pandemic and when everybody started fucking stream. That's what I'm saying. It's just becoming more and more normalized. Like, because it's how you make money. It's the best way to make money. Where it's like, if you really have a dedicated audience, which I have a small but dedicated audience, they're not really watching it necessarily at this time. Snowman. About to find the snowman. But it's like, you know, these chicks on TikTok or whatever, e-girls, they just get on the live and just sit there. They don't even have to do anything. And guys just send money, donate, subscribe. And it's not only women. If you're a video game streamer, or if you're clavicular, I don't know how the fuck he makes money. He's probably Bitcoin, something friendly. He is a troll. And it's like he's sort of got a... I mean, he mogged Adam Friedland, I do gotta say. And it's like, it's amazing how quickly this slang is like taking over. To me, that's sort of the materialization of the 2020s, I guess. It's like now everybody knows what Riz is, or now it's mogging, mewing, looks maxing, gesture maxing. You know, the slang is 6'7". Everybody knows what the fuck 6'7" is. To me, that's like, okay, we're firmly in the 2020s now. People were not saying that. Or what? That's from 4chan or that's from Reddit. You know, this sort of extremist Epstein-seeded right-wing toxic male culture has sort of bubbled up into the mainstream. And I don't know, because it's all computer language or something, I don't know. Mogging, muting. And I think there's a lot of, oh God, listen to that. Sirens. You know, because people are spending more time online, inside, and their buttons are being pressed about whatever their fucking insecurity is, if they're short, if they're whatever the hell it is. Racist, not racist, Trump, trans, you know, whatever the fucking button they're pressing is. Like, people are not touching grass. To use another kind of Reddit I regularly see people on Reddit be like, bro, you're too online, touch grass. It's like, dude, you're on fucking Reddit commenting. Like, how about you touch some fucking grass? And now, right, it's sort of a sign of privilege, or it's a status symbol, or it's there's a movement to sort of be offline, right? People, it's like they are going offline, they're reading again, they're publishing, whatever. And I get that. I guess that makes sense. If it's really bad for you, is that what brain rot 6-7? I mean, 6-7 is literally like, we're programmed by brain rot. Our brains have just, you know, like fruit that's turning to mush. Spoiling fruit. And 6-7, bro. Just play the Family Guy theme over and over again. 6-7. So it's becoming more normalized to be streaming. Still legal. I mean, I guess part of my point is I need to stream more interactions. I need to just stream more. My problem is not necessarily that I'm, you know, wasting my time. I'm not streaming enough. Just need to be on all the time. I had my snow stream the other day. I don't know. Oh, okay. The blizzard stream, okay? First of all, I got there too late. I missed most of the good snowing. I only got kind of the last 12 hours. But I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. I want... In haiku, they talk about... These Japanese haiku basho and shit, they talk about the haiku poets are going to this snow viewing party. They're going to watch the snow fall. That's like their idea of a great time. And I love that. I mean, to me, just point the camera out the window and just film the ambiance. Why the hell not? Let's get, you know, maybe we can turn it into a time-lapse video or something, but I think there's some interest. It's the storm of, you know, the biggest storm in 10 years or something. It really wasn't that bad. I mean, granted, they cleaned the streets pretty quickly, but because of Mamdani, this $20 an hour shoveling program, smart, innovative, socialistic, but with a purpose. It's public service. You know, look, it's fucking pretty clean already. I mean, it's warm. The last snow in January was like freezing for like weeks afterwards. It was 0 degrees, so... You know, today it's like it's live enough, like it's warm enough I can be out here streaming. and sort of, it's not too bad. You know, I guess streaming has been, you know, sort of it's either like the people that watch this are like either really young or really old, I guess. Or at least when I was on Twitch, it was like most of the people I talked to were like Trump high school kids, like 16-year-olds that were in high school that like, they were watching streamers. That's the audience of iShowSpeed or Kai Cenat or fucking Clavicular. So there's all these fucking kids who don't know how to meet women. They've been told if they're under 6 feet tall, they might as well kill themselves, because no woman will ever even match with them on fucking... The height thing is ridiculous, where it's like, okay, just because you're under 6 feet tall doesn't mean you can't get a girlfriend, okay? Like, you can get a girlfriend, doesn't matter how fucking tall you are. It's not like no women are ever gonna like you. Like, you will find somebody if you just kind of put yourself in the world. You know, if you have a job, you meet somebody for your job, even if it's like fucking fast food or something, it's like, it's not that hard necessarily. I mean, the alcohol helps sometimes, but you know, you don't even necessarily, that's not even necessarily the excuse, right? The excuse is because Gen Z doesn't drink, they're not having sex. It's like, no, you don't necessarily, it's kind of a toxic thing to think you need to get drunk to have sex. I mean, it does help people get over their inhibitions, definitely, and sort of get out of their insecurities, be less nervous, and so in that sense, maybe they connect better. There are other ways to deal with that. You know, you meet hot chicks in yoga class or something. It's like, women are down to have sex. If your game is strong, you know. But anyway, these guys are looking for answers. And so this guy, you know, if you're 12 years old or whatever, a kid, you don't know anything. You're not necessarily that socialized with the opposite sex. It's like you're going to watch this guy on Kick or whatever because that's like the edgelord video game. Like, that's what the cool young people are doing. They're not watching Twitch even. They're watching Kick. And the Clavicular is sort of this insidious version of masculinity, where it's like kind of it's modern and it's sort of like a Bret Easton Ellis character. It's like American Psycho taken to like a really, you know, freakish degree, where it's like, it's all about body modification. I guess if you wrote Patrick Bateman now, he'd be smashing his face with a hammer or something. Or he'd be having jaw surgery or whatever. All of the shit Clavicular, it's all about looks maxing. Because I guess his whole point is you have to be good looking, that's all that matters, is like as a man. Which, I mean, mogging, I don't know where he's getting that from. Because in a certain way, I relate to what he's saying. Yeah. You know, if you're good looking, you should get credit for that. Well, I don't know. As a man, you don't get that much credit for that. At least the last 20, 25 years, this century, it's sort of better if you're like fugly, if you have dad bod, like if you're a little bit ugly, like if you're Adam Driver, if you're Jeremy Allen Strong or whatever the fuck that guy's name is. It's like it's better if you're like a little bit funky looking. I don't know why. If you're Vincent Cassell, that's like hot. Whereas Tom Cruise, it's like, ew. He's like, or you know, he's too. That's like gay. He's too good looking and he's a creep. So you know, he's not. He's 5'7". It's like, ew, gross. He wears lifts. Like, ew. Who cares what his face looks like? You know, he's like the inverse of a butterface. It's like only face with Tom Cruise. I mean, Tom Cruise has a nice body. He's muscular and shit. I heard this theory about Vince McMahon, about wrestling as sort of a way of like programming children to look at like grown men in their underwear wrestling each other, like oiled up. Because so it's sort of insinuations that like Vince McMahon is gay, or like, you know, he at least kind of is into that. Where it's like he allegedly had an affair with Shawn Michaels, or like he was in love with Shawn Michaels or something. I don't think he's gay. I think Vince McMahon is probably into everything. And who knows, you know? I mean, it might just be about, you know, subjugating people or control or power. I mean, he's definitely into women, too. We know he's sexually harassed and abused women, so... But even if it's, like, not consummated, you know, there's some... uh-oh. Somebody's car's stuck in the snow up here. There's some sense that Vince, like I saw a tweet the other day, it's like he had to be in love with his world champion. Like he was in love with Shawn Michaels. He was in love with the Ultimate Warrior. Somebody said, you know, because it's kind of weird, like why did the Ultimate Warrior get such a huge push? He was not a great worker, and like... He wasn't even, I mean, his body was maybe more defined, but I don't think he was as tall as Hulk Hogan was. You know, Hulk Hogan was 6'8" or 6 or something. Hulk Hogan is like a tall fucking dude. Whereas, I don't think the Ultimate Warrior's that tall. Maybe he's 6'2". But I think he's like 5'10" or something. I don't even think he's... And so it's sort of like, well, why the fuck did... Do I want to go over here, or... I don't know. It's shoveled out over there. But Vince McMahon seemed to like the Ultimate Warrior for some reason. And I think they're similar guys. Based on, you know, I saw the Ultimate Warrior give a speech at OU in 2004. And he's very aggressive. He's very tan. He was wearing like this fucking very kind of tailored suit, but he had no tie, his collar, and he was jacked. You know, he was still jacked. I think McMahon they have similar vibe. Just like super jacked, super testosterone, super aggressive. You know, touchy or something. Should I cross? I was thinking about going to the Upper East Side, maybe. Do I want to cross this park? Should I do Upper East Side? What should I do? Jim Hellwig. The Ultimate Warrior's real name. Although I think he legally changed it to Warrior. Jim Hellwig. Changed his name to Warrior. You know, that's a bold move. Considering your wrestling career had been over probably by 10 years at that point. You're still calling yourself Warrior. Just because you have a bunch of guns does not make you strong. Just because you have a bunch of muscles does not make you strong. Let's get some of the skyline here. I'm still on kind of I don't know. I'm trying not to be as obsessed with the Epstein thing because it doesn't, I mean, I'm outraged. I just clipped, I think I've been shadow banned on YouTube for, my shorts. I think I posted too many or something. For some reason, all of the shorts that do good on TikTok do not do good on YouTube, and vice versa. The shorts that do good on YouTube don't do anything on TikTok, which is very strange. That's why I sort of feel it's necessary to post them to both. And, you know, for a while, my YouTube shorts were doing pretty good. I was getting 1,500 views, or, I mean, that's not a huge amount, but it's not nothing for me. And so I thought, okay. I was getting subscribers, you know, I was getting a bunch of subscribers. And so I thought, okay, they want you to post more. I thought that was the whole, my goal was to sort of post every 3 hours. At least like 3 times a day, maybe 5. I was, you know, barraging YouTube shorts with micro content that I thought was, it's meant to be like a tasty preview for this. It's clips from this. And I thought you know, they're doing pretty good. Most of them are 40 to a minute 10 or something. Some of them a little bit longer. And this edits pretty well to make these sort of like micro points. I mean, maybe you don't drive things home always, and I change subjects a lot. Sometimes right in the middle of what I'm talking about, usually. But I also make, you know, a fair number of prescient observations that I do feel like it's necessary. You know, like maybe I'm not giving the most comprehensive views about fucking AI or even the Epstein thing. Not necessarily that I want to. To me, it's another subject, but it's sort of like this keystone. It's sort of like this Rosetta Stone to power and, you know, control in this fucking, in our society, really. That, to me, it's more about that. You know, the child abuse is awful and criminal, and that's enough that the guy should be banished. There's more. I'm right in the middle of making a point. I don't want to switch to the Wexner stuff, but I do want to talk about Wexner. And I don't feel like it's dangerous to talk about this stuff, but I also feel like I'm getting sort of shadow banned. Like, okay, last time I did a stream, I streamed for about an hour on the couch, and I think I was talking about Epstein and Wexner and blah, blah, blah. And then suddenly my stream just shut down and quit out of nowhere. It's never done that. I mean, maybe it'd do that if it ran out of batteries or something. I don't know. But it's, you know, it doesn't really do that. I mean, I wasn't even touching it or anything. It was in the wine bottle. And just suddenly it's just like, boop, nope, duh. Going to sleep now. And it was very odd. You know, it's just like, why did that happen? Is that a space laser? Is Mossad watching my fucking live stream? And so anyway, you know, I go back later because I'm like, okay, well, it shut down, but, you know, I did 45 minutes or 50 minutes or something. Like, it wasn't like it shut down 5 minutes in. So I'm like, okay, well, at least I'll still have the video or something. Maybe somebody will watch it later or blah, blah, blah. And I just started again, and I think I did 2 hours after I restarted. But then I went back later to watch the original video, and it's basically gone. It's still on YouTube, but it's only like 5 minutes long. Most of the video is missing. Vanished. And so, I don't know. Did I get too close to the truth? Not that I have a lot of insider info or anything. The most interesting thing, but I do, the last few YouTube shorts I posted, I literally got 0 views. I mean, 0. Except a few of my subscribers watch them. I think I'll get, you know, if the video gets completely shut down, like on the For You page, I'll get 2 to, you know, a handful of views just from my subscribers, but it's not much. I might even get likes. I get a lot of likes. Thank you to whoever's out there watching my shorts, but the algorithm has decided they're not worth promoting in any way. So they're giving me like 0 fucking views. So I just stopped posting. I'm just like, okay, I think I just posted too much. I wasn't getting enough. It said you need to get 4% engagement. You need to get 4% of likes. For every 100 views, you need to get 4 likes, basically. And I'm not really doing that on YouTube. I rarely get a lot of likes anymore. It's been a while since I've gotten, I don't know, more than 30 likes on a YouTube video. But I was getting views, so I'm like, okay, fuck it, I'll just keep posting. I thought if you posted more and you posted regularly, then the algorithm's supposed to like pick up on you. I just don't get like how do they expect you to post, 3 times a day or, every day, let's say, and make something that's like high quality every day?
My day probably won't add up, yeah.
I mean, I make some, these kids are on the video, they said. I make some salient points. I do pretty well on TikTok, surprisingly. I've been getting, I guess that's where all the conspiracy nutcases are, since I started talking about Epstein. But, I'll get 23 likes on a, sort of pontificating clip from this, basically. I clip the best part. Like my other live stream was 2 hours the other day. And I think maybe it was a little longer. I got 9 clips. That were all like, it was at least 9. Maybe it was like 11. Somewhere around 10 clips from each stream that are pretty, they have an interesting feel. This has a little bit more of an interesting feel than a lot of the clipped podcasting, talking head. Or, like on TikTok, it's more like a lot of people are just reading like essays they've written or articles they've written. There's a lot of writers that like, they just read their fucking thing that they wrote into their camera. And so you can't really tell that they're reading. It sounds like they're just talking to you. And it looks like they're just talking to you because they've got a teleprompter on their fucking screen or whatever. So it looks like they're just doing this. It looks like they're just yapping, but they're reading something that is like a fucking essay they wrote. Some of this snowy ass. Oh, the other day I got some footage of all these fucking people were out on the ice because it was still frozen. So I walked out on the ice, and then the cops came up. The cops came and ran their sirens and were like telling everybody through their big Blues Brothers megaphone to get the hell off the ice, basically. I was a little bit like, are we allowed to do this? Like, okay, let's do it. There was hundreds of people out there, so it seemed safe. And I don't think it's that deep anyway, but they've got these fucking ice ladder rescue stations everywhere. And so as I'm on the ice, I'm thinking, is this cool? They've got these fucking ice ladder rescue. Like, even in July, you'll be walking around the pond, you're like, oh, it's the fucking ice ladder rescue station. So it's like, probably not that cool of an idea to go out there, I would guess. Yikes. So anyway, yeah, I stopped posting, other than like, I just stopped posting my political talking head videos to YouTube Shorts. They were doing well, but I figured I'd give it a few days to for the algorithm to just chill out, for them to miss me and want me back, want my incisive political commentary back, and random, stand-up open mic clips or poetry open mic clips. So anyway, the most popular fucking live stream I've had in like forever was the take that in for a sec. See, there's the ice ladder rescue station right there. Ice rescue ladder station. So, my fucking Blizzard live stream, which I literally just put my phone up and pointed out the goddamn window for, I think it was like 12 or 15 hours. I got over 500 views and I got like 13 or 14 likes. Now, I will occasionally get 500 views on a regular live stream. There was one recently that got 500 views, Smoke Show, or one of them got 500 views. I forget which one. But, you know, it didn't get 13 likes. So I actually got more engagement for not appearing and not saying anything. For just pointing my phone at the window and staying off camera completely. I got 500 views and 13 likes, 14 likes. And if I think I got a subscriber. My New York Blizzard live stream. Fuck, I gotta tie my shoe. Am I gonna tie my shoe in the snow? Okay, so one of the things I read in a comment section, because part of my question with Les Wexner is Epstein was sort of his right-hand man, or Epstein was sort of his lackey or something. And yet he had this kind of vested interest in Epstein and furnished him with a townhouse and a this and that. And a lot of people, you know, it's everybody's favorite fucking thing to say on the internet that, oh, that's Mossad. It's fucking Mossad. It's AIPAC. Wexner is, you know, Mossad or something. It's like, okay. Not everything is fucking Mossad, okay? I hate to say it, but it's like you can't just blame everything on fucking Mossad. Maybe it is. I don't know. But, you know, that never occurred to me. I never necessarily heard about that. Growing up in Columbus, Ohio, Wexner, you know, gets maybe accused of this or that. You know, even though people like to throw the idea around that he was like some kind of mafia or something, I never really understood that. Like, how does his company connect with that? You know, Limited Brands, like, how is that mafia related? And I mean, if you watched his, you know, testimony or whatever the fuck it was the other day, they came to his house. It was the most Godfather 2 fucking coded shit. Sorry, I'm tying my shoe here. Oh God, it's all soaked. Gross. I mean, I don't know. You're gonna be outside on a day like this. It's gonna be fucking. We got some nice horse and carriage. My hands are all wet. Hold on. And so I saw this in a fucking comment section on a TikTok video. His fucking Wexner's testimony was just like so Godfather 2 Hyman Roth. And he just seems like this sort of unassuming, confused. I never knew him, you know, he was not my friend. He was not that close to me. I knew him basically like as an accountant, like I'd know my manager or something. It's like he just lied. Basically, he played dumb. I mean, I didn't watch that much of it to the point that I saw him like plead the fifth about anything really. Like he did answer. And there's sort of a famous clip of his lawyer leaning over and goes, I'm gonna fucking kill you if you answer more than 5 words again. And a lot of people have taken that literally. The internet has basically clipped that out and been like, holy shit, look at this. Wexner's lawyer threatens to fucking kill him. It's like, it's kind of an expression. You know, like, maybe that guy did mean it, but I think he was doing it more to just protect his client's own best interest. Wexner was he started to talk about the Rothschilds, right? He said something about how he met Jeffrey Epstein he got a recommendation from Ella de Rothschild or something. And that was a surprise to me, because you hear a lot of conspiracy thinking about the Rothschild family, right? It's sort of linked to anti-Semitic, where it's like they own everything, they own the banks, and the banks own everything. It's like, I don't necessarily think it's that cut and dry. You know, I don't necessarily think these 5 families or whatever the hell it is, this small Jewish banker family owns everything. Like, there's a lot of white people who own a lot of shit too. But, you know, do they have some kind of shadow fortunes that are not on the fucking lists of the richest people? You know, I think a lot of times when we see the list of the richest people in the world, it's like, I don't think it's really truthful. You know, they say that Putin's got a fucking $1 trillion, or you know, if the Rothschilds are so fucking powerful, how much money do they have? They own everything. They're not on any of these fucking lists. So you see Walmart, you know, that family, the Waltons. You see, you know, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, whatever, Bezos, the sort of conspicuous baron, tycoon, entrepreneur, tech, whatever, douchebags. Or, you know, the tackiest fucking people on earth. People who want to sort of be seen as conspicuously wealthy, really. That's like where a lot of their power comes from. Not that they're not, but, you know, there's people doing criminal shit. We don't know how much money they have, maybe. Like the Putin connected, people that were connected to that. And so, anyway, you know, Wexner is a billionaire. I'm pretty sure he's the richest guy in Ohio. But, you know, his publicly stated net worth is not like, you know, anywhere near Elon Musk or Bezos. It's like probably a few $1 billion. I don't think he's double digits billionaire, at least not on paper, that we know about, that I'm aware of. And so, I mean, is the guy hiding money? Is he making money in other ways on the side? Yeah. You know, is his business like a front? And if so, what is it a front for? And like, it's sort of like that McDonald's movie. You know, it's like Ray Kroc. He didn't even have the fucking idea for McDonald's. He stole it. But McDonald's, they only became this kind of franchising mega monster when they realized it was not really about the restaurant. It was about the land. Owning the land under the restaurant and leasing the restaurant, leasing the franchise to, you know, franchisee or whatever. Getting them to do all the work, basically. And being a landlord, like the royal family or the Catholic Church, or, you know, in a certain way, right? Land is always the best investment. They're not making any more of it. It's like the cliche, right? Always buy land. I mean, maybe now more than ever. It's like real estate is so marked up and a lot of wealth is parked in it. Trump doesn't want his friends to lose their wealth. You know, we can't crash the real estate market. He could do it, but he's not going to. because he doesn't want his friends to lose their wealth. It's like all of the money from the pandemic went into real estate values, into crypto, into the stock market. Just gambled away by rich guys, investors, finance douchebags. They're not all Rothschilds. So this comment this guy had was it's all about the trucking. It's all about transportation. You know, Wexner was linked with this fucking plane, which became the Lolita Express, like they used it, right, to ship the Iran-Contra weapons or some fucking thing. Like this plane literally was one of Wexner's planes. And they said maybe it was a drug running operation. You know, Wexner is the expert of logistics, right? It's his business is about the mail in certain ways, transportation, trucking, shipping, airplanes. He figured out how to, you know, expand his business to be global by mastering that stuff. So yeah, they do sell women's underwear or whatever, but like what it's really about is like moving stuff, just like the mafia, Teamsters. And the thing that's interesting about Columbus, Ohio, you're thinking, why does this guy live here? Why does he run his business? He's a billionaire. He's got a townhouse in New York, whatever. This guy's sort of this international. I mean, he's from Columbus. He's from Bexley, I think. Or he grew up there or something. I don't know if he was born there, but you know, he could have lived anywhere. He chose to build this big estate. I think, you know, for one thing, Columbus is a good place to run a business cheaply, but one of the big advantages of it is that it's on I-70 and 71, and Columbus is within, and I think maybe even saw this in an article about Wexner once, is like Columbus is within, I don't even know, 70% of the population of the United States within a day's drive or something. I don't know exactly what the statistic is, but you know, Columbus is sort of an inconspicuous, you know, it's not the most exciting, publicized. I'm sure he liked that too, that it was kind of a sleepy, unknown place where he could, you know, no one is going to come looking at his sex trafficking. He can be the boss there. People are going to look the other way because he provides jobs. He's a huge part of the local economy. So nobody's going to ask any questions. Do whatever you want. Conduct your, you know, he owns this whole town, basically, New Albany. So it's like he's got his own police force. They're going to look the other way. They're not going to bother him about whoever comes and goes on his mansion. I think they said they flew out of Rickenbacker. We used to go to Rickenbacker Golf Course. Rickenbacker was like a military airport. You know, Columbus, the main airport is CMH, I think, is that still what it is? John Glenn, maybe they call it, I think, now. But that's the main airport that like most commercial flies out of. But then there's Rickenbacker, which was a military, it was sort of like National Guard or something. And, you know, you get some flights out of Rickenbacker, but not really. There was a golf course there that we used to go to. It was pretty nice, like public. And so they said Epstein used to fly in and out of Rickenbacker. on the Lolita Express, which they used, you know, I don't know, the fucking CIA or the Mossad or some kind of intelligence, some kind of arms dealing. You know, was Wexner a part of that? Was that really what it was about? You know, Epstein was a fall guy. Epstein was this guy who could handle all this dirty business for them. He was smart. You know, he seemed valuable. Wexner seemed like he wanted to reward this guy. He wanted to keep him, you know, as a proxy almost. You know, Epstein can sort of be in New York, be on the Upper East Side, hobnobbing with Woody and Noam Chomsky and Charlie Rose. Katie Couric. Wexner, I don't know. He likes living in Columbus, living his little freak life or something. I don't know. Logistically, that's where his business is. He can control it. He can be the big boss. But it's like, you know, he'd been running this shit from the 60s. You know, the limited start in the 60s. They really only started to ask questions in the fucking 90s about this shit. You know, so like Epstein said, him and Wexner had been doing gang stuff for decades. And so in the 70s, you know, Wexner may have been running cocaine or weapons. You know, that was sort of when his business, I would guess, kind of flourished and really was established. And was he doing that because it was a front for some kind of government dirty business between Israel and the United States, corporations, indoctrinating people with whatever, body shaming, anorexia, kind of subconscious imagery, kidnapping women, you know, projecting Epstein's ideal of what a woman is to the entire global male through Victoria's Secret Angels, Giselle, Victoria's Secret fashion show. Fucking Taylor Swift is playing the fucking Victoria's Secret fashion show with Karlie Kloss and Bruno Mars and Usher. I mean, everybody played the fucking Victoria's Secret fashion show. Maroon 5. Were they hanging out with Epstein? Were they were happy to be objectifying women then. They were happy to support body shaming. Taylor Swift, where's your body positivity? I mean, Victoria's Secret was like body positive during the first Trump era when everything was woke. Now they're sort of back to body shaming. Now they're back to like, you know, hot, thin. They're still kind of diverse. They've always been diverse because they want a global consumer base. But as long as you're 6 feet and have double D's and you weigh 120 pounds or less, then you're beautiful. So I don't know. I've never really seen any kind of evidence other than the fact that like they used this fucking plane for Iran-Contra. You know, was Wexner as a master of, you know, that kind of timetable, that kind of logistic of shipping. You know, was he handling that stuff for the fucking government? You know, it said something about how he innovated, you know, manufacturing in other countries to get his costs down. It's like, oh, so Wexner like invented sweatshops. I shouldn't say he invented them. He just sort of like, you know, innovated putting them in poor countries where they couldn't, you know, they don't have any choice except to work for 10 cents a day or whatever. Vietnam or these temporary autonomous zones. That book, No Logo, talks all about sweatshops and how these big retailers use slave labor basically to manufacture their products. And so Wexner was, I mean, that's not necessarily anything new, but he was maybe one of the first, I suppose, to do it in the modern kind of like mall, corporate, transnational, NAFTA, globalist kind of sense where I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. I've never necessarily heard Wexner as an example of one who invented fucking exploiting child labor abroad. This article from the 80s or whatever about Wexner, the bachelor billionaire, is like talking about it like it's this shrewd, cunning, like business thing. Like, oh yes, he got his costs down by creating inventory abroad with cheap labor. It's like, okay. In the 80s, that was looked on as like a positive. He figured out how to make money by selling out American manufacturing, by taking advantage of people who had no choice. The bachelor billionaire. So I don't know. My most popular TikTok video, I don't know. Maybe I am too online. I've doubled down too hard on like the virtual space. Everyone's, getting offline. So the market's oversaturated. There's clavicular now. He mogged me. The only people that watch these fucking streams, I guess, are probably right-wing psychos. That seems to be where this, they're lonely men. They're men who are not touching grass, who are afraid to go out and talk to people face to face. Or, the thing is, a lot of men get confused. They think that what clavicular is saying is the answer. They think that if they looks max, if they get surgery, they need to be taller. They need to have, and clavicular like really knows the scientific anatomical names of like the different, it's his orbital subfractal. He needs buccal removal surgery. Like he knows all of the plastic surgeon. He's almost like Nip Tuck or something. He's just like this kind of, and now plastic surgery is like kind of encouraged where it's like, it's just enhancement, do stem cells, do fucking any kind of, supposedly Trump, the reason why Barron Trump is 6'9" or whatever is because Trump took some kind of stem cell or they used some kind of, scientific method to boost their fertility or something. Trump had some kind of, he juiced basically. He's on the juice. They manipulated Barron somehow. That's why he's 6'9". Because they used some kind of fertility drugs or something. Trump's not averse to that. He's like, yeah, just give it to me, whatever the hell it is. It's gonna help, sure. It's gonna make my kid a beast. I don't know. Maybe that's just fucking conspiracy theory or something. Maybe that's just copium. Maybe that's just cope. See, I mean, I think it's an indication that I'm online. It's like, I love the new slang. I think everybody kind of likes it, but it does, it makes sense of the kind of digital era we're in. It feels appropriate. It feels futuristic, I guess. It's all dumb forum speak and shit. Stupid computer programmer language. Modified. But it's weird how much Gen Alpha, they really have an effect on the culture. It's like all of their slang is kind of like working its way upwards. And I guess that's just the effect of the internet, spending all your fucking time on the internet. So anyway, what I was saying about, there's a lot of guys that they don't know how to talk to girls. They don't know how to meet girls. They think because they're under 6 feet tall that all women hate them. They're incels. They don't, there's no third spaces. Everything's so expensive. They can't go to college. They live with their parents. They can't move out. They can't get apartments. There's nowhere for them to be intimate. Maybe they don't even have a fucking car. Gas is expensive. Everything's expensive. And so they're looking for answers. The cheapest way, everything on the internet. And in a certain way, they want you to be on the internet. They want you to spend. They want you to spend all your fucking time on Instagram. They want you to be a keyboard jockey on TikTok all fucking day every day. They don't want you talking to other people. They want to isolate you and just keep feeding you whatever the algorithm thinks you want. Endlessly amused to death, right? Amusing ourselves to death. The Peter Thiels, the gay tech mafia, the dystopian fascists, they see their fucking opportunity to take over. They can sort of override the analog world, disrupt the government, that's all Trump is useful to them as sort of this disruptor. When tech, that's just, all disruption is like tech takes over your industry, basically. Because you can no longer do it because it's all on the fucking internet now. People try to do everything through the fucking app or a website. And so the tech guys just take over. They just go, okay, everything's DoorDash now. Everything's Uber. Everything's Amazon Prime. Netflix. If the studios could have beaten Netflix to the punch on the streaming. But they got disrupted. They got disrupted as fuck. It's just like Birdman. Just pretend we're in Birdman. Oh, there's all kind of this dripping water. See, I don't want to get water on my phone. One little drip of water can be. Drip, water, splash, drip, drip, water, water, splash, drip, splash, water. Skeet. Yurt. Skeet. Yurt. My friend was saying he saw Train Dreams at this theater. I think he said he liked it. So they think that's the answer. If you're so good looking, women want good looking guys. You have to looks max. Whatever the fuck that means. Guys are suddenly obsessed with like their jawline or, these little micro intonations of like their facial symmetry or something. It's like, we were metrosexual. I came of age in like the first Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. I remember watching it with my girlfriend, Carson Kressley. He was the first celebrity I ever saw. I came to New York in 2004. We went to the Pride Parade, and Carson Kressley was like the mascot. He was like the head of the parade, whatever the hell that's called. The master of ceremonies, or so, Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, like suddenly dudes were metrosexual. They were gelling their hair. There's shaving club. Everybody's wearing these like douchebag button downs. Everybody looks like they're on fucking Jersey Shore all of a sudden. So men were always preening. This is something I wanted to talk about. It's just like men almost feel more feminine and more emotional than the men that I've known want to be in love. You know, they become like emotionally, you know, and I think this scares women when a guy is more into you than you are into him. And, you know, a lot of these guys, they have an emptiness they're trying to fill. They think a girlfriend is going to make them happy. And it's like, that's not her job. You know, getting a girlfriend is not going to like make you happy, and you shouldn't put that responsibility. You can't think that way. You can't think just like, oh, I'm a loser. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, you want to figure out how to get female attention. You want to figure out how to get some action. But it's like, you got to be realistic. And in a certain way, at least in my day, women are way more emotionally merciless. You know, they will cut you off and not even look back. And so you know, there's a balance in a relationship where it's like, you can't be too comfortable. You can't be too codependent on the other person, or you know, obsessed with them, or needy, right? It's like the most unattractive thing in the world to like be needy and be asking some other person to fulfill things that like you need to figure out for yourself. Generally speaking, women are attracted. It's not really about looks per se. You know, it's like you have to be motivated. It's not about money, or it's not even really about height. Believe it or not. You know, it's like you have to have a goal. You have to be going after it. If you're working on yourself, you know, like if you can add that to being good looking or tall or rich or whatever, then you know, these are all things that you want to, you know, basically women, I mean, there are certain guys who are sociopaths and who have game, and like they can just like, they know how to play with women and interact with women to get women to like chase them. And you know, you might be able to learn that, but like not everybody can do that. But that doesn't mean you can't get women to like be attracted to you or get a girlfriend or something. Like any fucking loser can get a girlfriend. Like it doesn't, even if you're 5'3" or whatever the hell it is, but it's not easy. Even when I was in my fucking, you know, I wasn't really an adult till I turned like 24 or something. I lived at home and I did not know, I mean, I had girlfriends and stuff, but like, I did not realistically have an idea of what women were actually attracted to. I was baffled. And there was no real handbook. You know, there's a lot of bad information about what women are into. And it makes sense because we're men and we're attracted to like pretty girls with a pretty face. It's not about how fucking tall they are or what job they have even. It's not like that for them. They're not like, oh, this guy's pretty, like, I love him. You know, it's like they see more of the full picture. There's a lot of things they're looking at. A lot of it is just feel, you know, so there's no way really to understand how to like vibe, to use everybody's favorite word, with a woman without like just doing it. You know, like it's a feel thing. Women have to feel attracted to you. They have to feel comfortable. They have to feel safe. And so you have to be secure. You have to be secure with yourself, which means you're, you know, whatever that means, accepting yourself for what you are. Like a woman doesn't necessarily care if you're the greatest at anything. But if you're secure in what you are, and you have an accurate idea of like what you are, and you're confident in that, a lot of times, you know, and so you don't get insecure and, you know, emotional and shit about dumb stuff. And so they're spending a lot of time working on themselves, trying to mature, trying to better themselves, get a better job, get a better living situation, learn, whatever it is, until they meet a husband or whatever. If you're just sitting at home playing fucking video games all day, being like, well, I don't have a girlfriend, I'm gonna watch Clavicular. If you're sitting at home watching Clavicular all day, you are never gonna have sex with a woman. It will never happen. You're watching a looks maxer. You're spending your life watching a fake, surgeried out, fucking like dweeb. He's a troll. I had a, because I met somebody at the open mic. I met this guy at KGB on Monday who said Clavicular was just in this fashion show downtown. So he's been kind of like I mean, it's just a buzz thing. And it's dumb. We're sort of falling into their trap, where it's like, it is this kind of insidious right-wing psyop, where it is propaganda. They're trying to seed the culture with like these really toxic views about manhood and get kids into it. And New York is sort of falling for it, where it's like he was on Adam Friedland's show, because he's funny. It's like Trump. It's like, oh, it's funny. This guy's such a fucking prick that it's like funny. Who acts this way? This guy's got some real balls. He ran somebody over with his car in his live stream. And he like fat shames people and so he's like, you know, he's crossing all, he's like a shock jock, right? He's crossing all the boundaries you're not supposed to cross. He's pissing people off. The woke assholes. And he's getting away with it, you know. He's just another fucking plant. You know, I'm sure that there's people boosting his goddamn visibility. And so anyway, you know, with the open mic, I'm constantly just looking for whatever's going on, whatever the talk of the town is, to sort of like participate in that. And you know, I guess in a certain way, maybe my work is a little too obsessed with topicality and contemporary life. It's like everything I do is mention some kind of fucking scandal or something in the news. Like Bill Maher. So anyway, I met this guy at KGB on Monday, and we kind of hit it off. And Clavicular walked in some fashion show downtown, right? This is something that a lot of downtown culture. A lot of downtown culture is right-wing, or, you know, they say the N-word, or it's Red Scare, it's Matt Gazda, who's sort of like a Jacksonian fucking, I don't know if he's a Trumper, but he kind of is. You know, that was like what the dirtbag left, or like white people did, the rich white people who gentrified downtown, or, you know, the Nepo or trust fund babies who live downtown in Chinatown or whatever. They, you know, they were sick of scolding from the woke. And so there was a lot of propaganda and planting, like this kind of fucking Peter Thiel, Curtis Yarvin, You know, I heard a lot of people talking about fucking Curtis Yarvin at KGB like in 22, 23. You know, that was way before the fucking election. And so, you know, they're using downtown New York as a strategic kind of location and leverage point to kind of like disperse this right-wing, anti-woke, you know, like it's cool to be MAGA. And sort of like it worked, right? That they got Trump reelected. I heard somebody say Red Scare is a psyop where they're trying to get gay guys to be anti-woke. They're using these like really hip women to sort of influence gay men. Or, you know, just, I don't even know. People who want to be writers downtown. Tao Lin's right wing. A lot of it. A lot of these alt-lit people are like alt-right, or, you know, they're anti-woke. They're trying to flout those, doing the same shit Clavicular does, basically. And so there was some fashion label, this lady, Les or something. She caused a little bit of a brouhaha because she had Clavicular walk and Mog and Looks Max on the runway in her fashion show. And so I don't necessarily think people were like against it. Like I said, most of the people downtown, it's like, it's just a peculiar mix. There's sort of like wokeness and sort of like, you know, queerness to some degree, but it's all mixed up with like Nazis and just sort of like rich, you know, I that's not to say, you know, what about Breast Easton Ellis? What about Tom Wolfe? What about, you know, Jay McNerney? Like, not necessarily that he's conservative, but, you know, the idea that there's some kind of downtown, like, finance adjacent literary writers or something, not necessarily anything new. But it's just weird how that's sort of like the only game in town, in a way. It's just these, like, sort of MAGA sympathetic, wannabe or I read some article about, what is it, Annika Jade or something, or there's a couple novels, there's all these novels that are Madeline Cash that came out. They're all kind of varying degrees of the same thing, where it's like these like kind of waifish, waspy white chicks, like anorexic kind of Brandy Melville, you know, Tumblr, or I guess I don't even know, that wrote novels. And they're sort of right-wing, ironically. Or at least that's sort of what the reviewers, they deny it, of course. But the reviewers kind of, that's the lens that they view it through. And, how cold is this fucking phone? I did not bring my charger. We'll see how that goes, I guess. Oh, I hate this guy, Stavros at Radio City Music Hall. See, this is what I mean. It's like the new culture is kind of materializing. Ivy Woke. I saw it was Ivy Woke's 10 things that influence Zoomer male culture. Number 1 was Cumtown. Nick Mullen, Adam Friedland, and Stavros, which is a fucking podcast. Who watches this? I guess, well, I mean, I can see the fashion, because every guy now does have like a dumb mullet and like a mustache. They all look like that Nick Mullen guy. Even the bartender at KGB, it's like he's a younger guy than me. He's like, you know, somebody that's savvy and he has to look hip for his job. And it's like he's got a mustache and a kind of an ironic, he looks like a baseball player from like the 80s. Which, like, to Zoomers, I don't know, that shit's funny. It's their version of, like, I don't know, this thing. The French mustache. But, I mean, that's totally what those guys on fucking Cumtown look like. And, I don't know. I just don't really get it. Stavros, he seems like a chill guy. You know, he seems funny, I guess. He looks like the fucking guy on Aqua Teen Hunger Force. That's why I feel like he's famous. Because he looks like Carl from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. We'll go to Rockefeller Center for a minute. We'll stream over here. Stream on over. I'll probably get off pretty soon. I don't remember what the rest of the list was, but these podcasts are like part of the male loneliness epidemic. You know, it's like, or, you know, men have always been lonely. It's a part of being a man, is being lonely. It's just now everybody can fucking broadcast their complaints to the internet. The internet is just like one big complaint department. You know, it's like this shit was always happening. You know, short guys were always like, but now it's just like there's all this grievance. Everything is fucking grievance. It's like, why don't I get what I want? It's because of XYZ. It's because I'm ugly. It's because I'm short. It's because I'm, you know, not white. It's because I'm white. It's because I'm not a white man. It's because I am a white man. It's because I'm cis. Because I'm queer. It's because I'm queer. It's because I'm not queer. And it's like everybody, for the most part, in the human race, has always been unfulfilled. Most people live lives of like struggle, frustration, you know, unfulfillment. Or maybe I'm just being negative. I don't know. Or, you know, it's hard to get what you want. It's hard to, everybody is in this like hustle to achieve. And so they're frustrated and they broadcast it on the fucking internet. See what's going on over here. So I met this guy at fucking, I met this guy at KGB Monday who said he knows this Velez chick whose fashion show was that Clavicular walked in. And so he's like, yeah, I know Clavicular. This guy's at KGB on Monday. He's like, yeah, I know him. And so, I don't know. I just had the funny idea. I was like, because this guy, we followed each other on Instagram. He seems cool. He seems like a downtown. You know, those people don't always come out on Monday. They usually go out Thursday, Friday, Saturday when like the real shit happens. But he seems like a downtown kind of, you know, hip man about town type guy. And so anyway, I just thought it was funny is like, what if he brought Clavicular, or, you know, it's just kind of a funny idea. Like there is sort of a fictional reality where it would be possible that Clavicular could come to the open mic. I mean, we had Adam Friedland out of the blue. And so, who knows? Maybe we could get Clavicular. I just thought it was kind of a funny thing. So I posted it in my, you know, Instagram. They have those little, what are they, thoughts or moments or something where it's like, it's sort of like an away message, right? This was a thing I had, is like we live in an away message world now. Everything's a fucking away message. Twitter, Instagram's got these moment things. And so I was like, Clavicular is signed up for the open mic on Monday. Like, just as a joke. Just like, okay, this is like sort of a topical, you know, I don't know. Just another pattern we can be in on, you know, to just, you know, because you're with this, you're always looking for content. You know, you're always looking to fucking feed the beast, where it's like, I need posts, I need jokes, I need things to say on my live stream, I need clips, I need new poems, I need stories, I need, you know, I don't even focus on that much. It's amazing to me how people can posting 20 Instagram stories and it's all so aesthetic and it's all this little idiosyncratic shit that they see in public. It's like, I might see something once every couple weeks and I'm like, oh, this would be perfect for my Instagram story. You know, I'm not like, oh, I got 20 random pictures that I took that like are aesthetic and they're just like a fucking traffic cones or something that make a face. And so like, I'm going to post a carousel of like, this is my last few weeks of just like random fucking textures and aesthetic shit I saw. Like Mario. Let me just take a little picture of this Mario statue. We'll clip that out and put that on Instagram. I'm gonna go in this McNally Jackson in a sec. I'm gonna do 90 minutes because I do want to save some battery. So I posted this thing about, yeah, Clavicular is signed up for the open mic on Monday. And I don't, you know, to me, Clavicular it's sort of like a Trump thing. I guess it's a joke that you really shouldn't make. It's sort of a dirty joke. It's an easy joke. And you're sort of just giving this guy attention who really doesn't deserve it. You know, I think he's racist or anti-Semitic, or I don't really know I don't know. I didn't fucking, you know, look at Clavicular's whole fucking history or anything before I posted it. I just thought, I literally met this guy at KGB who said he knew him. And so I thought it was more an ironic joke about, isn't that insane that this is the world that we travel in? We're like 1 degree away from this, in, you know, really weird, influential, buzzy, kind of new, dark. Somebody said Clavicular, if he had been in the 60s, he would have like made a couple Andy Warhol movies and he would have died like mysteriously in like some gay magnate's mansion on Long Island or in California or something. Like Joe D'Alessandro or something. You know, he would have been an Andy Warhol superstar in the 60s, but now he's an influencer. And, you know, the influencers all political, or sort of, they're political in the way they're not political. I think he says that he's not political. He's like, I'm not political, but it's like, that's just his way of saying like he's super right wing. You know, that's how people always say they're right wing. It's like, oh, I don't like politics. I don't care about politics. It's like, okay. Which means you're a libertarian or something, which means you don't want to pay taxes, which means you're a Republican. You don't think there should be laws. And you're pro-life. He's probably pro-life, if I had to guess, Clavicular. There will probably be some kind of Christianity arc at some point, like Russell Brand. So anyway, I posted this on my Instagram stories, and I got a message from a comedian, and I couldn't tell if it was what the tone of it was. You know, it's like, I don't know if this is a generational thing or just something's lost in translation when you type, but this comedian typed hilarious, get, and then they had the skull and crossbones emoji like 3 or 4 times. And so I'm a geriatric millennial. To me, when I read that, I thought, well, first I just saw hilarious, like in the preview. So I thought, okay, they think it's funny. But then when I clicked, it said hilarious, get, skull and crossbones, skull and crossbones, skull and crossbones, skull and crossbones. And I'm like, what does that mean? That means get fucked? That means get killed? That means kill yourself? To me, I'm taking it literally. Get skull and crossboned means die. Die, you fucking pig, for making this insensitive, you know, how dare you support and platform this monster who like I said, I don't really know what he's done that's so bad other than just being kind of a dumbass. He's a joke to me, but, you know, apparently enough people are taking him seriously, and You know, I don't know, is he racist? Is he sexist towards women? You know, supposedly he injected too much testosterone and he's infertile. And, like, he injected his underage girlfriend with some kind of, like, fat dissolving agent, like, live stream. There was some interview or something, and somebody was telling him about some confrontation they had, and he's like, did you stream it? And they're like, oh, no. And he's like, you should have streamed it. It's like, he gets me. I'm like clavicular. I'm a streamer. So it was sort of a joke about that. It's like, he's a streamer, and that's part of why he's famous. Like, isn't this retarded? Is basically what I was saying. Not to use another insensitive piece of language, but, like, isn't this fucking dumb? But it's sort of what's going on downtown, and wouldn't it be hilarious? It was meant as, like, an extremely sarcastic, like, everything I do, obviously, it's an extremely sarcastic. And like I said, maybe it's irresponsible to mention the guy. Wasn't it weird during the first Trump term, nobody said his name? It was like this superstition that, like, and it kind of worked, to be honest. The resistance worked the first time, and he did kind of go away. Nobody would say his name. It was like you couldn't even say it. It was just like, it was like a bunch of little kids, like, oh, you don't even say it. But, you know, maybe you are giving power to somebody by, now it's like there isn't the same, the resistance has just collapsed, and there is no, like, moratorium on the name Trump or mentioning him, or, I mean, not that anybody does, but, like, there isn't the same kind of fear or aura, which is good that no one is, but, you know, am I being insensitive by making this joke about this guy who I don't even know what the hell he did? Something bad, probably. He's a Nazi, or I'm not platforming. I'm not supporting it. It's just like, he's a joke. His name is a fucking punchline. So I, you know, like any confused geriatric millennial, I Googled the emoji. I was like, what does this emoji mean? If somebody says this, if they use the skull and crossbones emoji, what does that really mean to a Gen Z? As a millennial, I'm taking it literally, and I'm thinking this person wants me dead because I'm a jerk. And so I looked it up, and it said, you know, it's like some people use that as, like, they're laughing. You know, like, I'm dead. Everybody says that now. It's like, oh, I'm dead. I'm screaming. I'm dead. And that's their way of saying died. I'm dead. And so I sent a message to them. It was like, I met this guy at KG. So I was like, okay, culture that in the last couple of years, the newest thing at the comedy shop, this girl had an Instagram reel about this guy at the comedy shop, like, sexually assaulted her, basically, for stage time. She asked for, like, stage time or something, and he said, like, you know what you can do if you want stage time, and then, like, grabbed her. And so she made an Instagram reel about it that sort of went viral. And I looked at it, and, like, fucking Amy Schumer commented on it, and all these, like, famous comedians, like, commented on it. Like, Sarah Silverman, I think, commented on it. Like, oh my God, so sorry this happened to you. We won't be going there. So it basically, like, ruined the comedy shop's reputation. And it became, like, you know, an impassioned kind of issue in the New York comedy community, where it was like everyone's boycotting the comedy shop out of solidarity with, like, this victim and the sexual assault, you know, and just the gross culture of it. It's hard to be a woman in the arts sometimes because guys are trying to be sleazy, and, you know, they touch you, or they want something, or a casting couch, or whatever it is. So I totally sympathize. That's completely gross. And that's fucking, you know, they should be goddamn canceled. Fuck that place. All of those McDougal, Bleecker places, it's a shame that they're not cooler than they are. They could be really amazing venues. And I suppose they're successful, but it seems to me like they're probably losing a lot of money. And there's some kind of weird, it's propaganda. You know, I've always, like, gotten creeped out by those places. and it's always like kind of right wing, and so I sort of go there from time to time, but there's I don't know, maybe that's just mainstream comedy now. It's more like that. It's a bunch of like Staten Island garbage truck drivers that are MAGA, and they don't want to hear anything about politics, but they're obsessed with jokes and comedy podcasts and writing jokes and joke structure and blah blah blah. It's a male obsession now. It's a male hobby, complaining and being rhetorically, just explaining everything. So anyway, I don't know if this was part of that, because it was kind of coming from a similar, social group, where it's like maybe they are like super pissed and vigilant about the scumbags and whatever the scene, but it was just a fucking joke. These comedians, if anybody, should relax. Not that I'm saying this girl should relax. Like, I think it's good that happened and they blew the whistle on that, and they should fucking change. All those clubs should change. They're all just like making money off the Comedy Cellar's legacy. People go to the Comedy Cellar, they can't get in, so they go to one of these other shitty places and see bad shows that are overpriced. And it's a shame, because it's New York. There's something really creative and interesting in there. It's doing something vital, but who am I to say? So anyway, I don't know. That's just the nature of putting anything out there. Is you're gonna get reactions from all fucking angles, and you can't predict it. And, I could be more woke, I guess, and go out of my way to be a little more sensitive about that kind of stuff, but I also just feel like it's my job to like lampoon these fucking idiots. Even though if it doesn't, I don't know. It's something that's on people's minds. It's something that materializes in our culture, and it's weird that stuff is considered hack. It's like anything that's like topical, and like you can't talk about abortion, you can't talk about Roe vs. Wade being overturned. You can't. I mean, when I started going to comedy open mics, it was right around when Roe was overturned, and I remember a comedian talking. Who do you think you are to talk about that in your act? It's like, what is the point of doing this if you're not going to talk about things that matter? If you're not going to talk about clavicular, if you're not going to talk about what's going on, then why do it? If you're just going to talk about dating in the same fucking way everybody else talks about it, it's like there's a million different ways to be interesting on stage. Don't just talk about your fucking horrible date life like every other fucking comedian. Talk about clavicular. But I don't know. I am a little bit worried that I'm a little too reliant on topicality. And there's this girl on TikTok who does, it's like your friend from work. And it's like every phrase that she says is like some kind of like internet brain rot. Like it's giving, this girl's kind of gone viral. She's got like millions of followers and shit from this character. And she's just saying all of this like slang from the last couple of years, just kind of regurgitating it. And I had the realization the other day, I'm like, oh my God, is this me? Have I just become like, because I try to put a fingerprint on the weekly show by being, by talking about whatever's topical, clavicular, or like this week I said jester maxing. It's like 2 years ago, I never would have said jester maxing because it wasn't part of the popular lexicon. But it's something that just popped up. It popped into my head on the spot, and I was like, I don't know. I like that. I like comprehensively, kind of marking and warehousing. Because all of literature and all of art has never been about that. It's always been trying to be timeless, not date itself. I think it's kind of interesting now to talk about everything as it happens. Maybe I'm too political. You know, am I too obsessed with Epstein and Trump and the government? And, you know, I sit on fucking TikTok all day. Or checking Instagram stories, or doing this, or, you know, watching wrestling, or whatever the hell it is. Maybe I do need to get back in touch with, you know, the cabarets in New York are like these little TikToks. They're like these little Instagram reels. Maybe it's better to get your news that way. Maybe it's better to get in touch. I probably just need to be around people more. You know, I think part of the problem, right, is there's too much isolation. These podcasts are sort of like surrogate friend groups. They're sort of like a replacement for socializing. And they're sort of got this carrot and the stick in front of us where it's like, oh, you could be an influencer if you just keep posting. You know, it's hard. It's a long, hard climb to be an influencer, to go viral. Keep posting. So that's what we're going to do. Just keep posting, everybody. Thank you for watching, and we'll be back on soon. I'm just going to live stream everything, like Clavicular, my hero. Is that in poor taste? I don't know. I'm sorry. It made me feel some type of way. All right. Have a great day, everybody.